you are on with Coach Rice. And today I have a special guest that I am excited to actually dialogue with this morning because her name is Monica Kao. Did I say that right?
Kahio.
Kahio. Okay.
Mhm.
And I wanted to bring her on because she's special. She is a certified indoor health nutritional practitioner. And she's going to talk to us today about just the issues with toxins in the home, correct?
That's
So
correct.
tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, yeah, like I said, my name is Monica, and like you said, I'm certified in indoor environmental health and also in integrative nutrition. And but my heart is really, as much as I've always been in nutrition, but I came into knowing about indoor health because of my own pain. Because I just happened to move to a different state, and the home that I moved into actually had a lot of toxins. And so I started getting sick, and I didn't know why I was getting sick.
Okay.
And just, try and error on everything. I found out actually that it was my home that was actually toxic. And so I had to, do everything I could. I am a very natural kind of person, so I try not to use chemicals. I try obviously to eat right and all that. I knew that part of it, but I didn't know how really environment affects our health. And so I ended up finding a way of really cleaning out my space. And then when I realized how many people are affected by it, I decided I think that was a call for me from God to start helping people, because people who suffer from any breathing issues, and if you've never suffered from that, you don't know what they go through.
Right. I
Yeah.
haven't.
Yeah, because when you can't breathe, that's the first thing God gave us is breath.
Yes.
And if you cannot do that, you can only live for what, 3 minutes without it. And so, we think about, diet, we think about water, we think about, but we really don't think about breathing until you cannot breathe.
Oh,
And so,
wow.
yeah, we don't, because it's so natural, you don't even think you're breathing, but you are. And every breath you take, you're taking something in, because whether you're outside, whether you're inside, it is affecting. And unfortunately, because it goes inside of us, we don't see what is going in. And the minute you take a breath, it's first of all, it just goes into your lungs. One of the things I found out is actually, if you stretched our lungs, they are actually as big as a tennis court.
Wow. You got to be
Yes.
kidding.
Yes.
That's some good information. I never
Yeah,
knew that.
exactly. And what happens, you can imagine all those, in order for it to be compacted, there's a lot of folds, and that's where the toxins lodge themselves.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, how did you know that, like you said, you found out you had
Mm.
toxins in your
So
home? Did a doctor tell you or?
actually, I knew. I mean, I've, I've already studied in naturopathic, and so your body, and you know how it feels, because what happens was, anytime I came home, because I live in Georgia, and I don't know, we have a lot of pollen, and we have a lot of, and most people thought that's what was actually affecting me, but I was fine when I was outside. It's when I came home, like I was working a corporate job, so every time I came home, um, I would start having a headache. I would be congested. I would wake up in the morning, my eyes would be swollen, my face would be swollen, my eyes were hot, very, very red. Um, and my throat was sore. And so
Hmm.
I did all the natural things, taking the honey, washing my sinuses, stuff like that. But it could help a little bit, but then, the next day and the next day, because it's always building up. And then I started losing sleep. I couldn't sleep. I was sleeping maybe 2 hours a night. And I'm one of those people who have my 8 hours in,
Right.
otherwise I don't function.
Yeah, sleep
And I
is
was
important.
sleeping too, and even when I was sleeping, actually I couldn't lay flat in the bed anymore. I had to sit up, with five pillows behind me, because that's the only way I would be able to. Because anytime I lay down, I felt like there was an elephant on my chest. And so I developed, allergies, and then allergies turned to allergic asthma. I developed nasal polyps. I developed sinuses. Those are all things I never even knew what they were. And so, obviously, I ended up going to the doctor, and they're the ones that diagnosed me with that. And obviously, the first thing they do is, give you a list of medications. I believe in medicine, but I don't believe, that you have to address you know
Every situation,
the
yeah.
situation first. And then, then you can take medication and that. And so that's how I actually started looking for ways to, what is causing it? Just curiosity. What is it? Because, I'm a curious person. I want to, before I start treating it, I want to know what caused it so I can avoid it, because something has had to happen. And that's the only thing that happened, is moving into this house. And I remember one time I was talking to somebody, and they said, oh, you probably need to get your house checked. I didn't know what that meant,
Okay.
but they told me where to go. And when the people came to check my house, I couldn't smell mold at all.
Okay.
I couldn't, obviously, a lot of the things you can't see, and they said you have black mold in your home, and it was all inside the walls.
Ooh.
Yes, so that's what I was breathing. And
And
then
it doesn't have a certain smell, huh?
it didn't, and that's what is so scary, because most of the time, like, you can have a musty odor, and you kind of, but this one wasn't smelling. And so, because I have a very sensitive nose, and I was like, how could I not smell that? But that's what it was. And so, obviously I ended up, trying to remediate it. And you know one day good, one day bad. And so I was very fortunate to find, a company that actually, they have technologies that actually remove the mold, um, all the way from the to the inside of the walls. And then I started getting better. So I didn't have to actually. I did take some over the counter. I didn't want to take the prescription, because, when I looked at the side effects, they were worse than what I was suffering. And
Wow.
yeah, and so I tried to kind of heal, naturally, but taking the remediation, and like really completely healed.
So your physical state was the fact that you had all of these symptoms, you couldn't breathe, you developed asthma.
Hmm.
What was your mental state like?
That it was I mean, it literally changes you, because you can't think the way you usually do. You don't feel well every day. It's like just moving in motions. And it just was, I yeah, I mean, it literally changes you. Yeah, because when you can't think, and you kind of know what you're supposed to do, but it takes you twice as long to do it, because
That's
you
what
know
they
it,
call
but you can't
brain
think.
fog.
Exactly. That
Yeah.
brain fog was the worst thing,
That had
because
to be
you
the
you know
worst.
you know what it is, but you cannot, like, put
Right.
yourself there. And so that was the biggest thing for me. And then always, you don't want to be around people, because you're always sneezing and coughing, and
Yeah.
you know it affects your social life. It affects, yeah. um then you don't want to go anywhere, because you're not feeling well. So it isolates you, and that's one of the things I hear a lot of people say. And so I just
Yeah, because
I
isolation is just so, that's
yeah,
the worst type. That's the worst thing you could do is
exactly.
isolate
And yeah,
because
and exactly. And then, you go to people, like, say, like, for Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever, any holidays, you're so afraid to sit with you, because you're gonna sneeze, and it comes, and the sneeze is not like the little sneeze. It's one
It
of
was a
those
real sneeze,
that
huh?
you spray, and so you're always thinking of those things because
Right,
some
because you
people
don't
are.
want to offend anybody, right?
I know, and
And
they
you
don't
feel
know
like
what
you're
it
being
is, and
offensive.
and I say, thank God, this was before COVID.
Right, because oh my God, you couldn't go anywhere then.
I
And then you
know.
would have mixed those symptoms with COVID because COVID had those symptoms as well.
Exactly,
So
and
how long
so
did you experience this from the time
um,
you,
like literally, it took me 3 years to really get it
wow,
out of my body. Yeah.
3 years.
Yes.
So how long did you suffer before you figured
Well,
out?
actually, I suffered for three. I'm sorry. I suffered from for 3 years,
Okay.
but I got rid of it in less than a week.
Oh, once the mold cleared, your
Once the mold
symptoms
cleared and all the
lifted
different
up.
chemicals, yeah.
Okay.
And first of all, it wasn't just the mold. So then you start adding on. So when I started studying the environment, I found out that the EPA has actually said that an average home has over 10 pounds of toxic waste, and that's all from building materials.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that's
Just the
what's like
building materials
just
that they
just the
create and just the
just
building
the,
materials
just
that
the
they make with
building
your home.
materials, yes. And then you think about all the things that you bring in, all the things that we use for cleaning, all the things that actually, like anytime if you cook with gas, the emissions from the gas. If you turn on your air conditioning, there are all these things moving. If you turn on, like if you have a fireplace, all those things actually emit all different kinds of things. When you buy furniture, they are sprayed with different types of chemicals. So
Right.
if you think about, for a furniture, you go to a store and you see a furniture with a nice furnishing and beautiful marbling and all that. How did they get it like that? So all those are toxins. If you buy, like a fabric sofa, is treated from the inside to the outside because of, and then they put on a fire retardant that is very, very toxic.
So what made you actually get into what you do now?
Yeah. I
Is
found
that
out,
that journey? Is it
yeah,
was it
I
that journey?
found
Okay.
out literally that there are over 100 million people that suffer with asthma and allergies
Hmm.
that are known. And many of these are children.
Yes, that's so true.
Yes. And it is the number one reason that kids miss school. It is the number one reason that kids, end up in emergency room. And so I have to speak about it.
And so with with asthma,
Uh-huh.
it's really, do you believe that all the asthma the candidates, the people who are diagnosed with asthma, do you believe that it all comes from toxins only, or do you think it's
No,
any other? Okay.
there are some of them that come from different ways because I know there's some diseases can actually cause asthma, but most of it, that's a very small percentage. There's some that are either born with it or they get it's not a it's a some of a virus that actually goes into your system, but
Okay.
most of it is actually caused by environmental. Because I've seen just like the way I did, and I know some people who had been told they have to be on medication for the rest of their lives, and
Right.
once they clean up the environment, they are able to heal. But I know there are some that are born with it, but still, when you clean up the environment, it still helps you. You don't have to, take as much medication or whatever. Yeah.
So what type, so now you coaching this
Mm-hmm.
particular you're coaching in the area of toxins, you're in nutrition. Tell me more about your business.
Yeah. So basically, my business, I approach it to different because everything works together. Your body
Right.
is so, is created in a way that you need all these things together. You can't just do one thing. It's kind of
Yes.
like you don't do
One
sit-ups and
affects the
think,
other.
yeah, you know.
Holistic,
And
yes.
so you start from a starting point. But my passion, like I said, as much as I love nutrition, my passion is for asthma because that's is not known and people don't think about it. Because you can always eat well and survive or eat and survive, but when you can't breathe, it's a different story because like I said, it affects everything that you do. And so that's where I actually start. And so when people start feeling better, then I can come in and say, hey, then you can come in with nutrition, because you have to do, I always tell people, the things that God gave us when he created us was the breath, and he gave us water, and he gave us food.
Yes, he
And
does.
so when you do those things right, those three, because they really are the sustenance of life, everything else comes after that.
That is so true. That is
Yeah,
so true.
everything else, and everything you build around that, because there are so many people that just do nutrition, but they still end up sick. There are people who do, who do, all different, they exercise, they do this, they do that, but they still end up sick because you're not,
Yeah, because all of it comes together,
it
the
comes
mind,
together. It all does.
the nutrition,
Uh-huh.
hydration, all of
Yeah,
these things come
all of
together.
these
I
things.
coach a program that deals with all of that as well. And
Yeah.
it is, you can definitely go to the gym every day, and
Mm-hmm.
other entities can come into force to stop you from losing the weight
Absolutely.
that you
Yeah.
want to lose, like
Yeah.
menopause or
I know.
the way you eat. All of these things come into play. They all
Yeah.
work together.
And even
Yes.
the way you live, do you have joy? Do you have
Yes.
peace? Do you
Stressors,
have
the
all this?
stressors in
So
your life.
exactly. So, in my nutrition coaching, I went to a school that actually taught not necessarily first the nutrition, but first, we call it primary food. And primary food is the way your emotions, your the way you think, the way you live, the relationships that you have, the the way you do your work, the way all those things actually come before nutrition.
Yes, it does. So
Yes.
talk to me about pretend I'm your client.
Uh-huh.
What is your onboarding process?
Well,
what would I need? What would I expect?
yeah. What I expect first, and people get shocked with this because they go, "Oh, I just want to lose weight." I'm like, I don't work that way. I go through the beginning, because if you don't treat the root first,
Yes.
so we have this goal. It's called primary food, and we have a diagram called the circle of life. And the circle of life. So that's what I help people go through, because when that circle of life goes around, I have so many. I cannot tell you how many uncountable people that I have coached with the circle of life, and they came to me wanting to lose weight, but they actually lose weight without changing anything that they eat, because they're
Oh, because of the
tackling
other like
they're tackling
spirituality.
what actually caused the without even knowing, what caused what their weight, because it comes from somewhere. If you're gaining weight, it's coming from somewhere. If you're
Yes,
dealing with
psychological. Yeah.
exactly. And
Mhm.
so that's what I tackle first, especially, if obviously if you have an allergy, I tackle that first, but usually, with nutrition or anything like that, that's what I do first. Yeah, because once you do that, then like, it's again, your mind changes, and you can make better choices with the food, with the way you sleep, with the way you wake up in the morning, with the way everything that stands around your life. Yeah. So.
So it sounds like the first step you take them through is the circle of life, and that's
Mhm.
assessing what's really happening in their current
Exactly.
situation so you can get
Exactly.
to the root cause, correct?
Exactly.
Okay, and then what's next?
Then next, then we start talking about, obviously you have to talk about nutrition. Now what can, instead of taking away, what can we add on? So we don't,
Interesting.
yeah, we don't take away food, we add on. And the first thing I say, you have to add on a raw vegetable in every meal.
A raw
Uh,
vegetable in every meal.
mm-hmm.
You don't
uh,
take
uh,
away,
uh,
you add on.
we add on, yeah,
Okay.
because now you have healed the most important thing, which is your emotion, those. So now you start feeding your body what it needs, because the minute you tell somebody, oh, you can't have this, your body heard loud and clear, and that's what it wants.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. And so,
That
but
is
when
so
you
true.
add on, when you
We are
start
designed
adding
like
on,
that.
yeah, when you start adding on all the good things, then actually those cravings go away by themselves. Yeah, anything that you feel like you crave, because literally cravings is just your body telling you, I need some nutrition. So
Right. That is, I've heard that.
yeah, it
And
is.
being a health coach, I've noticed that myself, if I'm eating, when I eat a really well-rounded raw vegetable
Mhm,
salad,
mhm.
I'm not I'm not craving
Yeah,
anything.
you don't crave. Yeah, you're like literally your body. I always tell people your body speaks very loudly. You just have to hear it.
That's true.
Be quiet and listen to your body. I was talking to, I was in a conference this past week, and I was talking about like literally listening to your body, because I said every time you feel something that is not right, don't just bypass it and go take Tylenol.
Your
Well,
body it speaks to
it
you. It really
does, yeah,
does. It
because if
speaks
you
to you
ask yourself,
mentally.
yeah, if
Hmm.
you ask yourself, where did that come from? What have I done in the last 12 hours to cause it? And literally you'll get it. And then you don't have to take Tylenol, you take care of that. And because when you take like a Tylenol or whatever people take, it just numbs it, but it hasn't gone away.
That is true. So we
And
must
then
definitely
think about
take
it.
care
What
of
is
our
it doing in
bodies.
your body when it's being numbed? It is affecting something else. And it is
That's
affecting
so
something
true.
else.
That is
And it is
so
affecting
true.
something else. So really sitting and listening to your body is really, really important. Take care of the problem, and you won't have to deal with it later in life. Because some of it takes a long time, some of it takes, a little time, depending on what else is going on in your body. And that's how it affects you, either in a big way or a small way. Yeah. And, I talk to people and they're like, oh, but I don't, obviously when I'm talking, especially about, you know, the air that we breathe, but I don't have allergies and I don't have this. I said, so where do you think that 10 pounds of toxic waste, because you're breathing it, where is it going? you know,
Goodness
because you
gracious. That
because
is
you
something to
because
think about.
because you're breathing it, it's going
Right.
somewhere. Yeah,
All the
but
time.
all the time. Yeah, we take 20,000 breaths every day, and they possess something. And so I talk about, do you know, like when you open the windows in the morning when the sun is streaming in, and you see those little things floating in the air? I don't know anybody that has never seen that. I'm like, what do you think that is? Because most people think it dust. It's not dust. Because dust, you see it on your furniture and you can wipe it off.
Yeah, most people do. They really say it's allergies and not even know that it's
I
some,
know.
it could be so many
And
other
literally
things.
that is, we shed 700 scales of skin every day.
Right.
And when we shed, that is eaten by dust mites,
Mm,
and dust mites excrete. That is actually what is floating in the air. And that's what we are breathing.
mm.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give a homeowner if just to make sure that they can, is it a way to get around like finding out if it's mold? What advice
Yeah.
would you give
So
the a homeowner?
basically, ventilation is huge. Having a, because you're not gonna, there are people who have the capacity to build homes that are not toxic. But for the
Right.
rest of us, you buy a home, you see a home, you buy it, and you live. you know. But so they're the thing, that steps that we take ourselves. If it's cleaning the water that we drink, cleaning the air, purifying your home. Those are the things that you can do. What do you use on your body when you wash? Because that goes in your body. The skin is the largest. That's the one thing. Other thing, people forget that the skin is the largest organ in the body, and it takes in all these things that we put on it. So if you're putting on, a lotion, read what is in it, and
Right.
what is that? When you're
Because
using the cleaning,
it's absorbing in your
it
skin.
is absorbed. Yeah. What are you using to wash your laundry? That's the
Yes.
biggest thing. And if you look, it is scary when you look at all the toxins and all
Yeah,
the
because I saw
chemicals
it.
that are.
They got a company called Melaleuca that
Uh-huh.
sells organic
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
less toxic things for your home.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. You can
Yeah.
find stuff like that to help yourself. Your cleaning products. Um, because I tell people, like when you go, if you go under your kitchen sink, under your bathroom sink, and in the laundry, go and look those things. That's half your battle.
Yeah.
And use non-toxic. Obviously I always recommend a purifier because that's what really saved me. I partnered with a company that makes purifiers that actually penetrate the walls so they can kill that
Hmm.
mold. And it actually drops everything, so it removes everything off of your breathing area, and it drops it so that you're actually breathing clean air. It works throughout the home, so it's not just one of those that just works in one room.
Right.
And then
Yeah,
and
those are pretty good to have, those air
oh
purifiers.
yeah, yeah. So that's
And
important.
when you buy a home, I would think, and when you get your inspection, they should be able to tell you
Yeah,
if you
and
got
I can
mold in your
tell you
house.
because I have a lot of clients, real estate. And what they do is they put, when they're showing the house, they plug in those purifiers, and when you go in, it smells good because the air is clean. And then when
Wow.
they move out, then you're like, oh, somebody smoked in here. And nobody has been there, but the smoke actually sticks to the walls.
Right. That, yeah, they
Yeah.
do. You're right about that. And
Yeah,
so
and
it's
so
it's
yeah,
yeah.
so when you go into look at a house and it smells all fresh and good, and then they have cookies in there, that's what you're smelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they that's
They,
what they
it's
have done.
it's vision ready, right? And
Exactly.
so and then too, when you get water, it's
Mhm.
good to check and make sure when you
Oh
when you
my
have water
goodness.
damage to make sure bring someone
Yeah,
in and pay them and make sure you don't have any mold
exactly.
after the water after everything is cleaned up and stuff like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
Find out how long it take to actually create mold for mold to come
Mold
up.
actually in 24 to 48 hours.
Woo!
It starts growing, and it grows. It doesn't stop.
Oh yeah. So you did
Yeah,
when you have water
I tell
damage, you
people
definitely need to.
by the time you see mold inside your wall, I mean outside of your wall, it's everywhere.
Hmm.
Yeah, because it moves very fast.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
ooh, so I can have you on for a long time asking questions, but how long is your how long is your retention of your clients?
Oh my gosh. I have clients that I've worked with for I've been doing my business like literally full time for over 10 years.
Oh, nice.
And so number one, that's where I get all my referrals from, because people, I I can tell you stories. you know
Yeah.
yeah, I can tell you stories of that I hear, and it's so funny, because people know, like when they come to your house, if you have dogs, and they did not want to eat anything in your home because of the smell. And then
Right.
all of a sudden they come in as like, oh, what did you do? Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Now do you have where do you have a program that you use to for nutrition or you have your own?
I have my own.
Okay.
Yeah, I go through actually, right. Yeah, I do have my own, but right now I'm actually working with a group of doctors, chiropractors, naturopaths, different
Nice.
type of health coaches. So so we have put together a program where, and especially with all the things that that are happening today, so that when we work, we know, like, if you're dealing with this thing, and then we know who to send you to if you're dealing with this thing, but we all work together. So I
It's
do that.
always good to have a team. I kid you
Yes, you have
not.
a team
That's what
of
I
people.
like. I love having
Exactly, because
referrals because it really
yeah,
helps the client get what they
yeah, and they
need,
get to know you, and they
Exactly.
know they're not trying to guess what you have. If it's something that they don't do, they send you, hey, go to this one, this is what they do.
Yeah, that's what I
So
do with my
there's no
clients too.
there's
If I
no
can't,
there's
if
no
it's
trial
something
and
I don't do it.
error.
Right.
Oh, go and try this and go and try. And we are healing, like literally. I have seen people with diseases that are being reversed because of that. that
That is awesome.
yeah, so being reversed because now they're getting to the root of what it is.
Well, I'm so happy you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, not the path that that you had to take to do it, but sometimes we have to go that route, right? To give us
you
that
you do.
heart palpitation
Yeah,
for what we do, right? And so I'm so
exactly.
grateful that you were able to find your calling and
Yeah.
do what you do. And how can people who are interested in getting the proper nutrition and things like that get in touch with you?
Yeah, I have yeah, they can actually get in touch with me. I have I usually give a link to somewhere, especially because most people really want to know about the air purification. So I have
Yes.
a site that actually shows you like, what I do. And then when you sign in, the first thing I do is when you sign in, I have an ebook that covers the air purification, water purification. We have other different technologies that you can use for the home,
Okay.
and then the nutrition part, and then then from there you tell me where you want to start, whatever is
Okay.
the immediate thing you want, then we can start from there, and then we go through the circle and tackle everything else, and then you know
Okay. So
good to
after
go.
this, I would love for you to send me your all of your links because I
I
want to put
will.
it in I want to put it in a YouTube video
Yeah,
so you can and then when I'm done, I will put everything together and put the
yeah.
YouTube and send you the YouTube video as well as post it on Facebook,
Okay, that would be
Instagram, and all
fantastic.
of
Yeah,
that.
that's fantastic. Yeah, I love
Yes.
I love that. And even if it's just it's just question. I love to help people because I just want people to feel well. That's my
That's
whole
what we
thing.
all here for,
You
right? To
know,
feel well. I'm so
I
glad
hate,
to
yeah, I hate to see anybody in pain or they feel they can't do that because even if we are not in a position to, because we have to buy stuff to do all these things, like if there's anything I can help you do, while you're waiting to get rid of stuff, then I'll help people do that.
I'm so glad that you're doing what you're doing. And I
Yeah,
would definitely keep it. We are definitely gonna keep in touch.
we will.
And I would definitely get this video out to you and all of the listeners. Thank you for listening. If you really feel this was a benefit to you, please subscribe to my channel. You will hear more health related topics and share with a friend. And also reach out to Monica. She really has this heart desire to help. And I'm so happy that she's doing what she's doing because we all are here together collaboratively, here to help you as our listeners and clients. So thank you so much for listening. Have a happy Monday. I hope you've learned some things that's put it in the chat. If you have learned anything from this show, and thanks for listening and have a fantastic Monday.